It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity.
Hello, model citizens. Welcome to Junction. Tonight on Trains and Tech, we are going to talk about layout improvements. Last week we talked about changes. This week we're talking about improvements. What is the difference, you ask? I have no idea. Don't ask me. My next op session is going to be on May 24th. Joey from Late Night Hobbies is going to come down. We're going to have a fun op session while he is down here. But before he gets here, I thought, why not break a few things? Because everything has just been working way too well. And when things are working well, that's when you make improvements, which in my case usually means breaking stuff and moving forward. But before we get into all of that, I do have a couple of new items on the bench that'll kind of lead us down a path of discovery. I'm kind of laughing at Don's comment, but I appreciate the sentiment. Let's go over to this camera. We'll see what's on the desk. So this is a new book that I just got, and this was recommended to me. I don't know if it was recommended, but he mentioned that he had a copy of it. Andy Estep had gotten it. Manhattan Waterbound, Manhattan's Waterfront from the 17th century to the present. What I thought was really neat about this book is that, and I haven't actually read the words. I'm going to have to learn to read before I actually read any of the information. But what I thought was really interesting are there are a lot of pictures in here of the railroad. So this is actually the Riverside Park landfill, which is what's right outside my window here, 1915, 1924-ish. But there's a lot of these old pictures, a lot of them of the railroad and stuff along the water side. And I just thought it just, you know, any pictures of this area from this time, I just thought would be kind of neat to have. So So yeah, here's West 30th Street, you know, which is a big street in anyway, one day I'll learn to read. This book looked interesting. I have a whole shelf. I think I have a shelf of books up behind me there that I need to read, and I'll be adding this one, of course, to the list as soon as I figure out what the word is for that board with books on it over on the side. Some other things that I recently got, these came in the mail. We talked a little bit about these last week. If you don't know, these are the weight rulers that came from Mr. Adam Cruz. And Adam, if you are actually here, which you were here like early, but I don't know if you're still here or not. There he is. He's there. So he posted up the link. If you guys want to get your own, these are the 3mm ones with flanges. I like the ones with flanges because it gives me the ability to actually kind of put the car in the groove, and you line it up down here with the end, and then you read the other side and it tells you how much the car should weigh. In general, I overweight my cars, but this is just a nice little reminder, and it's not like 90% of my cars are on, or 90% of my cars are 40-foot cars, so I, constantly have to measure them. But it also has, inch and, oh, it's got an N scale down here too. I didn't notice that. I like that. So you can figure out how long things are in N scale as well. This happens to be a 40-foot boxcar. Would you look at that? Can also order direct if you message me on Discord. There you go. What Discord? You want to post a link to my Discord? Just trying to get extra links. But I like these, these kind of tools that just sort of make your life easier. I've got another tool coming in the mail that I ordered off a guy on Facebook. So Adam, you're off the hook. I found a guy that printed me up something that already had it in the thing. Align left end of car with the line to the left of the arrow. Even got instructions on it. So yeah, these came from Adam, and I'm gonna put those over the side. Here's another item that I got. So I'm having this like terrible idea, and that terrible. Oh, is there a typo? Oh, I didn't notice a typo. Did I call out a typo? Align. A-L-I-N-E. Oh, that's really funny. I even read it right, and I didn't realize it says align instead of a line. So I have this really dumb idea. In the year of this layout would not have this locomotive on the layout. But there's something about box cabs. Cameron from Caboose 121 is making a box cab for me, but I got this box cab, and I don't like. I keep seeing these people like do these like projects where they install these kind of things. And I just watched a Steve Childers video where he installed one of these things. And I don't know, I against my better judgment, I think I'm going to try and install one of these things in one of these things. And I don't know that that's such a good idea. I mean, this thing is N scale. It's not HO scale. I don't even know if this decoder is going to fit in here. So I bought this decoder. I still need to buy speakers. But like, I don't even know. Let's see if it, why don't we find out real quick? Let's see if this thing is even going to come close to fitting in there. There is no space inside this. When you look through the windows, you see the motor. So I'm hoping there might just be enough room. God, I don't even know. I'm like hoping I can get like a speaker in here too. But I mean, this is a tiny, tiny, tiny decoder. And I got the one with the wires. I wasn't sure which version to get, but I don't think I'm going to have the space for an adapter board. So I got the one with the wires, thinking that that might make it easier for me to wire up because I don't have to then solder to this. I can just, you know, cut the wires and solder into the wires. So I'm going to have to maybe at some point convince myself that I should actually do this and actually do this, but I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be a good idea or not. I am not the most delicate person, and you know, in addition to actually adding the decoder, I may need to, you know, get the locomotive running well, and I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna work. I'm a little scared. So is the I don't know if you're joking or not, Robert. That locomotive it's a brass locomotive. It is definitely not DCC ready. It is about as far from DCC ready as you can get. ESU does have a decoder selector, but generally not for that type of locomotive. The decoder I got, let's see, this is a Lokesound 5 DCC Micro. So the DCC Micro are the small decoders, the small sound decoders, and they're basically what everything in this. 95% of what I run on this layout is whatchamacallit. 95% of everything on here is ESU decoders, so that's why I'm gonna try and install this. I do have a bunch of Kapton tape. I figure everything is going to definitely get some Kapton tape. I've got a voltmeter to check. Well, I have a multimeter. One thing is a voltmeter, but another thing it has is continuity. So I will definitely check continuity. Brass models are 99. Yeah, I think the only DCC ready brass locomotives are going to the only ones you'll find DCC ready is if somebody else did it. Mike Pfeiffer says it may be hard to get that brass to run well on DC. I do have an Iowa Scaled Engineering Motorman back here, so I'll probably try running it on DC on that first to kind of break it in. One thought is that I might need to replace the motor. I don't know for sure. I hope I don't, but I don't know what year this is made, and I guess that's something I should have looked up at some point, is to see if there's a year that's made. But I might be able to find like even a smaller motor that I could drop in there that might run better. I don't know. We'll see. It's definitely going to be a project. Worst case, usually gear problems. Yeah, I bought this from a reputable dealer, so I overpaid for it. But I'm hoping that because it's from a reputable dealer, that they would have. I mean, they claim it works, so I don't know, but yeah, Mike, if it doesn't work, I'll send it to you. I'll make it somebody else's problem if it doesn't work. I wonder if it is a 3 or 5 pole motor. It's probably a 2-pole DC motor would be my guess. It's probably not even a nice motor. According to Spook Show, it came out in 1983. So yeah, that's definitely going to be an older motor. And it might even end up being my oldest locomotive if I get it up and running, but we'll see. I've got yeah, I hope it works out too. I've got DCC locomotives that are brand new that don't run well either. So, you know, there's that. There's that as well. So let's move on from things you can buy to things that I'm working on. And actually, it does, I guess, involve something that I bought. Yeah, so quick story. So a bunch of people came over after Island Ops, and I've got this Trainmaster CNJ locomotive. It's number 2405, you know, Fairbanks Morse. It's an Atlas gold locomotive, so it's got, you know, all the bells and whistles and the sound and stuff. And Ed goes to run it out of my staging yard, and it kind of stops running, and we can't get it running again. I end up pulling the wheels out, and because what I thought was maybe the gears were locked up. So I pulled the truck off. I would hold the truck on the track, and I would look at the gears and see if the gears were spinning. And with the trucks off, it would run fine. Like the gears would spin fine. But anytime I put the trucks back on, it would stop running. And I was like, what is going on? So eventually I just took the whole shell off. And with the shell off, it enabled me to see the motors on the inside. And all of a sudden, it just worked. And then I put the shell back on, and it stopped working. And then I took the shell off, and it worked again. And I just sort of like looked at it crossed, and I said, like, what are you doing? I don't see anything wrong with you. I put the shell back on, and then it's been working fine. It's the strangest thing, you know, brand new Atlas locomotive, I think came out within the last year or something like that. So, you know, brand new in the grand scheme of things. And it's just like stopped working. I don't even know. So anyway, last I ran it, which was earlier last week. Yeah, right before like my last live stream last week, I ran it, and it worked fine. So I don't know. It's just, anyway. So that's my story. New or old, I don't know. Sometimes things just go haywire. So things that I bought that that's gonna segue me into improvements. This is a light meter. If you don't know what this does, basically it's got a little white ball on the top of it, and when you turn it on, it's got a meter in it, and basically it tells you, there we go, it tells you how much light is coming into the ball. So you cover up the ball, the light goes down, you cover it up, the light goes off. So one of the things that I did not like about the sunrise sunset scene on the layout was that it wasn't, the colors were sort of correct, but the intensity wasn't. It went from bright cool white down to like a dim dark blue, but the reality was that like it would go from like a golden yellow color to like pink, and the pink was like so much brighter than the, so basically the intensity was all off. I have a really nice light meter from back when I did photography. I have no idea where it is. It is It is in storage somewhere. Instead of spending hours and hours digging through storage, I bought this one on Amazon for 11 bucks. I was also just kind of curious. It gives foot candle readings and lux readings, but foot candles are pretty common as far as like building code goes. And I was really curious what the foot candle reading was or is for the room when I have people in here, just to kind of get a sense of, you know, like, okay, like somebody, you know, with good eyesight or bad eyesight, like what, like if they're looking at the cars, like what is the brightness? So what I ended up doing is well, there's a couple things I ended up doing. Originally, I had 6 colors. So my sunset was a, this is a very funny comment, Kyle. that is, you thought I was just a shiny object walking around. I like that. So that's what I have is I have a really nice Sekonic light meter from back when I was doing photography. Much nicer than this $11 one. But what I decided with the sunset is that it was okay. Like, it worked. It was fine. The people that came over to the layout, like, you know, it was a nice little, like, detail or whatever. But my background's in theater, and I wanted something a little bit fancier of a sunset. So instead of 6 colors, I increased it to, now I don't even remember, like 10 colors, 12 colors, maybe more than that. Like, so there's a lot more steps in colors. So in addition to those, a lot more steps in colors, I needed to fix the brightness. So basically I created a table of information. But now what I needed to do is I needed to figure out, like, if I am going to do a scene, do a sunset during an op session, I kind of needed a way to control it. So I started thinking about what was the best way to control it, and of course, we're going to use Jammerai. If you guys don't know about this group, there is a groups.io called Jammerai Users, and there are some of the most talented and helpful people on this list that will kind of hand feed you how to set this stuff up. And I do not know, I don't know scripting at all. I don't know programming at all. So it was a learning experience for me. The thread, if anybody's curious, is this one. Still running a sequence of web requests based on a fast clock. And Bill Rutherford is also kind of working on a sunset as well at the same time. So we've been talking about it. But this gentleman named Dave Sand basically like hand fed this to me. And anytime I had problems, he would help me out as well. So, you know, this little thing over here basically shows what the table looks like. It's got the times on the left, and it's got web, it's triggered through the internet is what it is. Yeah, those guys, it is amazing how much they help people, and like I wish I could give back, but like I just don't. Like here's him giving me like the whole code. I don't feel like I know enough to give back, but like he helped me create this. So what I did is I got myself to this point where I started building out this panel. And what this panel does is it's taking all of this information and kind of putting it into this one space. So I've been using panels, right? So we've all seen this, right? I use these touch panels for controlling turnouts and everything on the layout. They also control power to the tracks, and there we go. Now it's clicking. So these are turning track power on and off as well. Turnouts, you can turn the track power on down here. So I've got these tablets set up that are really, really great for the operators, but I didn't really have a side panel to, let's say, control the layout, kind of like a layout owner's panel, so much to say. So as part of this sunset process, I've started building out this, train master panel or whatever, and I've got a tablet here that is what it's currently being built for. But up here is now the fast clock, and this fast clock, basically, as it ticks through, it'll go through this sunset sunrise script that I have here, and it basically will, check for what the time is. Listen on beans is the funniest thing, but basically what it's doing is it's listening for the time, and anytime the time changes, it pays attention, and then it kind of looks at the table and says, oh, if it's this time, I need to do X, Y, and Z, and it starts doing things. So on this panel, I've obviously got the layout name at the top, but over here I've got, this is the fast clock. So it is a 6-to-1 fast clock. Oh, and I'm showing you can't see it all. Let's see. So it's a 6-to-1 fast clock. I put that information right under it. So if I change the fast clock settings, oh, it's a Java reference. I didn't know that. That makes, oh, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. That makes so much more sense. I didn't get that. Listen on beans is listening on Java, like coffee beans that you're, See, this is the kind of stuff that I don't know anything about. But so here it says fast clock rate 6.0 gives the time. This little bar right here, if I click it, it'll turn green, and we will start seeing the time start to change. So what I've got it set up for the sunset is that the idea is that the op session is going to start at 11 a.m. on fast clock time, and it will go until about 4:30 at a 6-to-1, and when it gets there, it will start changing the lighting. So the 24-hour window at a 6-to-1 time clock happens in 4 hours. So it kind of works. The dance club strobe effect, I don't have that automatically programmed right now. But we can say, Alexa, set environment to dance mode.
Sorry, what device?
Alexa, set environment to dance mode. I'm now kind of curious what it's going to do.
I'm not sure what.
It doesn't know what to do. It keeps saying it doesn't know what to do. Oh, well, I tried. I was trying to ask it to play. So there's probably somebody's layout out there right at this minute that is playing dance music. But you can see, so one of the things on this is the time going by. So then I started kind of going, okay, like what are some like presets I want on the layout, was different stuff. So I started adding these different buttons. So what I'm really trying to, I guess, figure out is, I don't know, there seems to be all these different things that you can do with JMRI that I don't think most people have any idea they exist. I didn't know that, you know, I could create a lot of this stuff when I started, and I just kind of started. This RT logo on the bottom here, you click the top button, it turns green and track power goes on. You click the bottom button, which is red, and it goes off. I do not have an off button on all of the other panels, right? So like this Cortland panel here, see down at the bottom, it only has a track on button. I want people to, that's pretty funny. I want people to be able to turn the track power on themselves, but not accidentally turn it off. So the only one that's got the off button is over here. I do have the short protection set up on this as well. So theoretically, and now of course, I probably should have planned ahead of time and gotten something metal ready to short out the layout, because how else am I going to show this? Why can I never, like, I do this all the time. I can never remember to have something handy. All right, here we go. So theoretically, if I put this on the track, is it doing it? It's not shorting out. Come on, short out. Okay, that didn't work. Let's try something else. This is riveting, I know. I know, me walking around trying to short out my track is... There we go. So you can see, maybe you can see. Let's zoom in. So we're looking here, short protection, all these little green dots. So when I short this guy out, you can see the Cortland left one goes off. So it's just kind of a panel, I think, that kind of, you know, tells me as the train master, like which section of the layout is shorting out if somebody shorted it out. So it's just kind of a nice little interface there. The other thing that I have is the block power. So all of the locomotives on the layout get the brass logo. Yeah, I'm gonna put the brass logo on a DCC layout. That would go over real well. Is that like an emergency power off? Yeah, you know, if something's going wrong or whatnot, it just having it just available on the panel makes it easy to turn off. So you're asking, so the long-term plan, the short-term plan is that this is going to live on this tablet. So I can take this tablet with me or keep it on my person, and all of these things work just like the, oh, of course it's going to refresh, work just like the one on the computer. So I can turn the track power on and off here. The if I short the track out, maybe. Oh, the track power needs to be on for me to short it out. That would help. But if I short the track power out, you can see that turns red there. So this is going to live on this tablet, and I'll be able to kind of like carry this around with me as well. So block power, I'm just showing this on the display just because it's kind of an easier version of it to kind of show everybody. But yeah, it'll be on a tablet. So block power. So one of the things that I have set up on the layout is that, well, all of the blocks on the layout can be turned on and off. Not necessarily from a panel though. These staging tracks up here have locomotives that will live on them throughout most of the op session. These tracks over here, if you notice, if I zoom in on this, right, if I turn this track on, you can see it shows up red And the reason it shows up red is because there's locomotives on it. But because I don't want all of the locomotives drawing power all the time, or if I do have some catastrophic short that, you know, shorts out a bunch of locomotives, it's just kind of safer to just sort of leave this off. But this is on the panels that are in front of the operators. So sometimes I'll notice, oh, like somebody left that on and I'll want to turn it off. And I've got to kind of like go over and reach around the operator to turn it on or off. So what I've done is I've put those same buttons on this other panel. So if I slide this over and I slide this over, let's see if we can get these both on the screen at the same time. Nope, not quite. But so you can see they mirror each other, right? So this is on the operator's panel on the left. This is on what is going to be the Trainmaster's panel on the right. So you'll be able to turn tracks on or off here. So I will be able to look at this panel very quickly and be able to see which of the engine tracks are powered on as well. And I like running short hood forward because I like being able to see out the front when I'm operating. But yes, I know. I know I should go and figure out which locomotives run short hood forward, long hood forward, but I don't really care. So I'm gonna, in a second, I'll go, in a second I'll show how to add one of these buttons in, just because I think that's kind of interesting. The other thing that's on this panel that I started talking about before, I think I'm going to put buttons for the startup sequence over here. So I have a layout lighting preset, and basically what this preset will do is it is an initial trigger to set all of the layout lighting to the 11 a.m. preset. So you can bring up the, let's see, how do I do this? Who remembers? I can bring up the setup the fast clock, right? And I can do everything from here, and I could, let's say, I don't know, this wasn't working the other day. I wonder if it's going to work now. There we go. It happened to work. So I can set the time to 11, but setting the time to 11, it doesn't actually change the lighting. So I need to set the lighting to a layout preset. So I can, and I pause the time clock so you see it turn red. So I can click this button once and this will basically take me to lighting preset. And then I can add things to it or change things as I add more lighting. And I also want to add these other two buttons as well. Throw all turnouts on startup and toggle in preset track sections. So the track sections that I want to start off in the off position, I will, you know, I'll toggle them on and off. And the reason I need to toggle them is because you can see how these are all yellow. It basically doesn't know the state of them. Anytime I restart JMRI, it doesn't query the state of them. So I'm going to figure out one of two things. I'm either going to figure out a script that will query each of these and then they will change to be the correct color, or you just got to go through and basically just, like, you know, hit them twice and they'll all turn to the correct color. So I don't know exactly I don't know exactly what the best way to do it is, but, you know, that's part of it. And Ronald, I definitely get this, I get this sentiment as well, like it's about running trains. I love going to other people's layouts and just running trains, and I just want all this stuff to work when I show up. So I feel the same, that if you were coming over to my layout, I would want you to just be able to run trains. So part of having you over to my layout and just running trains is that I've already done all of this work. This is the fun part of model railroading for me. I like the electronics. I find it the enjoyable part, and I want to be able to set this stuff up so then when people come over to my layout, everything runs very, very, very smoothly. And yes, it is true. There are a lot of people that do have issues with automation. I'm not really setting up automation. I'm setting up control. And I think there's a difference between some of it. Like, yes, the lighting is automated, but it's really more about just setting up a control sequence. But yeah, you gotta. Oh, Ray, you have no idea. You have no idea. So yeah, it's fun for me. It is. Scott's Winchester and Western Railroad asks, what circuitry are you using to control track block power via JMRI? I am using MQTT. MQTT is primarily, at least my understanding is primarily, it is a home automation protocol. It is very easy to implement, which is part of why I'm using it. There is a gentleman named Gert Mueller who has and worked on something called MQ Trains, and he uses MQTT to control his entire layout. The downside of MQTT is that it runs over Wi-Fi. So I have these relay boards that have 16 relays on them, and they're all controlled via Wi-Fi. So when I click a button, it is actually telling my home automation system to turn a to turn a relay on or off. Unfortunately, I don't know if I have one of them not connected to show you. But just as an example, if you're curious, like these are smart plugs, right? These are all MQTT enabled smart plugs. There's a lot of MQTT stuff out there that you might not know is MQTT because you're just running it through an app. But yeah, that's essentially what I'm using. And that's another example of I got help through the community in initially setting it up. Once I kind of had it set up, the first time I'm able to kind of keep going and set up the next one and the next one and the next one. So I guess one of my frustrations with this panel is that I'm just starting to build it, and it is kind of a complete mess right now. I don't really know where I want to put things, so I'm just kind of putting them where I can put them for now. So what we're going to do is I'm going to add in the Selkirk. I'm going to add in the Selkirk power buttons here. Selkirk is my staging yard. All of them are all of the tracks are powered. So first thing I'm going to do, and I realize if I come in too tight, we'll leave it tight because you'll see most of it. So I'm going to add a text label. This little box popped up here. We're going to call it Selkirk. I'm basically at this point just making a header. Text labels don't do anything. They are just text. Unfortunately, I am using a black background, and black backgrounds, the text defaults to black. I can't figure out any way to change the default text, but once you find it, so I know approximately where I put it, so I just kind of move the cursor around until it gets highlighted, and then we right click on it, we go down to font, and you guys can't see this part, you go down to font, and then font color, and then I set it to white, and now we can see that it says Selkirk right there, but we can't really see that it says Selkirk because I need to make it bigger. And for whatever reason, I decided that the size of the text for that should be 28 points. You can make it anything you want, but that's what it is. So I'm just adding, this is only text. Like I can click on this all day. It doesn't actually do anything. What I need to do is add one of these buttons. So to add the button, we're going to go add item, sensor, because we're adding a sensor. Sensors are buttons. I don't really understand why that's the way it is, but that is the way it is. The active sensor is going to be this green button. The inactive will be red. The way I have JMRI set up is if it's active, then track power is on. If it's inactive, track power is off. And then the unknowns are yellow. If you remember when I went through that one panel, there were a bunch of them that were yellow, but once I clicked into them, they turned either red or green. So if I don't know what the status is, if the computer doesn't know what the status is, it'll be yellow. What I'm gonna do is scroll through this list here, and you can see I've got all these ones labeled P112, P113, 114, 115. What the P's are, P just stands for power, and then P101 would be power. It's block 103 essentially. So I'm just gonna come here. I'm gonna add 101, I'm going to add 102, and I'm going to add 103. So I've now added to this panel this red button right here, and if I highlight over it, you can see, you can maybe see it says P101 Selkirk 3. So Selkirk 3 is the very back track. I'm actually going to move that to the bottom. I'm going to label them 1, 2, 3, just kind of in the reverse order. And then I'm going to go grab this other one here, and let's see, this one, if I hover over it, says 103 track 1, so we'll move this up to the top. And now, basically, I've just added 3 sensors. This sensor, you can see up here, P103 sensor. This sensor is not disabled. There is an option to disable it, but it's not disabled. And what that means by not being disabled is I can press on the sensor and it will change the state of the sensor from active to inactive or vice versa. So of course, the last thing we need to do to make this actually work is we're going to need to add, well, I shouldn't say to make it work. You don't need to label it. You don't need to label it for it to work. Labeling it obviously helps you be able to identify it later. I'm a big fan of labels. It's just, you know, it's just the way I roll. Font size, I don't remember if I did 20 or 24. Let's see, font size 20. All right, so track 1, Selkirk, goes here. And I will just finish adding the text, which I know is just so exciting for everybody. And I wish I could figure out how to default this to like the text that I want. And maybe somebody watching this will know how JMRI works. This is JMRI's panel editor. They have a layout editor and they have a panel editor. They are just sort of different in the way they work. This could all be, at this point, all of this could be built using the layout editor instead of the panel editor. I'm kind of doing this because I think at some point I'm going to want to have some of the panel editor features, which I'll be honest with you, I don't really know what those features are at this point. I just know that this is the kind of stuff people use panel editor for, is making a button panel. I don't know why, but that's what people do. So now I've got block power. So now Selkirk, which is the backstaging track. I can now both monitor whether track power is on or off, and it'll all be right here. So, now I've got, short protection over here on the left, got block power here, and then we've got the fast clock, which is triggering things there in big, huge buttons over on the side here. And I made them big on purpose. We've got track power on and off with an indicator. So I'm just sort of piecing these together, again, just for kind of, fun ways to do this stuff. What's kind of neat about JMRI is if we go back here, if you notice this hasn't updated yet, but if we refresh the page right away, updates, easy peasy. Yeah, in a sense, it is kind of just hyperlinks. There is some of the programming is HTML-ish in a way that it is kind of simplified. To answer your question, Lord Nikon, I'm assuming you are a photography person. I have not figured out a way to copy and paste this. There is an option there. Let's see, copy, paste. Oh, of course that works. Well, there you go. Apparently you can copy paste things. That would have made it so much easier. Maybe I'll read the instructions. I was trying to, part of why I didn't think copy paste worked is because what I wanted to be able to do is actually copy this sensor button. So for example, copy is an, let's see. Copy is an option. Come on, stop. There we go. Copy is an option on a sensor button, but so it does it here. So I can add a sensor button there, but what I really wanted to be able to do that I could not get to work the other day is I wanted to be able to come here and I wanted to be able to like copy this. Oh, and it's not options, edit. So you can see this is a different editing style. So if I come here though and do edit, and there used to be a copy. Well, maybe that's the problem. There's no copy on this one. I thought there was. Oh, maybe that's the problem. There's no copy here. I wanted there to be a way where I could like copy this over to another panel. And you can use Control-C, Control-V to copy from one to the other, but I don't know, for whatever reason, it wasn't working. And I just realized that I broke something the other day that I have not fixed. One of my panels, the short protection image is moved. I got to remember that, like, I break things and then I fix them, and we go on. But yeah, this panel never seems to be locked. You can always right click on it and edit things. A bunch of different stuff you can add, signals and turnouts, and make this sort of like a touch panel display. The other ones are much more complicated in the options, where you can add in all the tracks and add in all kinds of different stuff. So this is what I've been, quote, improving. I wouldn't say that it was ever broken. It was just kind of what I was gonna, I don't know. I guess I'm doing this because I don't really want to do scenery. I guess that's ultimately what it is. But I think this is gonna help when I have people over at the layout. It'll just give me the ability to, pull this, oh, wrong one. Be able to pull this out and just sort of, start and stop the fast clock, or turn track power on or off, or, different things. And I don't know. Like, I don't know that I'm going to want to carry this tablet around with me. I guess that's one thing. I'm going to need to figure that out. I could get one of those, like lanyards or something and like wear it around my neck, like this. And then if I need it, I'll just like lift it up and look at it and then like flip it back down or so. I don't know. That's probably a little too much. I can get now on construction sites now, instead of having paper drawings, everybody now has tablets, and they all have pouches that they wear that the tablets go into. So I could look to see if there is a pouch that this tablet goes into. This is a 10-inch tablet. I could probably reduce it down to a 7-inch tablet, which might be nicer, but you know, we'll see. The main thing that you missed, Cameron, is that I talked about you building the box cab. So now that I've told everybody about it, eventually, you know, it needs to show up. And Robert, I thought about like, yeah, like I could just mount it somewhere. The problem that I have in this room in particular is that with 3 people in here, I find that I need to stay a little bit mobile. Like if somebody is coming to work in this area that I'm at right now, you know, I'll come over to this side, but if somebody's going to work in this area here, like I'll come back over here. So part of the reason I wanted it on the tablet is so that I can move around with it, which is what I like. Here's something I guess too that I can show that people might find a little bit interesting, maybe not. One of the things with these tablets and whatnot is that this is actually just a web browser. So this is a web page that's being posted up to the web. If I gave out the URL, anybody could see this from anywhere. And I am just using, these are just Amazon Fire tablets. And they're basically, you know, stock Fire tablets that I get refurbished. So I buy them for not a lot of money. And I'm running something called Fully Kiosk Browser. I could use the Silk browser, which is the, you know, the built-in browser for the Fire tablets, but you know, what works really well is this Fully Kiosk browser, and it basically forces the tablet to stay on. I would love to build a crow's nest. There's a guy named Morley Kurt that built basically a little bit of a crow's nest in his workshop, and I think it's really, really, really cool. Okay, you heard it here, folks. Cameron says the box cab is next to be painted. Ed, are you saying that I should bungee cord myself from the ceiling, or that I should bungee cord the tablet from the ceiling? I'm not clear which one you're referring to. And yeah, you could get into jailbreaking and everything. Part of what's nice about this is, after you've bought this, you can it's free. The Fully Kiosk is free. The problem is it might break, but yeah. And Dennis, I get it, man. I was a Mac guy for a long time. I use both though, so yeah. Scott says hang myself from the bungee cord, and Ray absolutely has it 100% correct. When you come over, not only do I force you to operate on the layout, but I also force you to watch reruns of Trains in Tech, but not current ones. I make you watch the ones from 4 or 5 years ago, which I can't even watch my current ones that like I find them cringy so much. Like watching the ones from 4 or 5 years ago are just brutal. So if you come over, we'll watch some really old ones. Go to Woot. Look for a Woot search engine. There's one out there or whatever, but you go to Woot. I get them on Woot. They are the current ones that they have are $40. They are the 2021 version of the 10-inch ones. This one I believe is a 2018 version of the 10-inch one, and I think I got it for $25, maybe $29. You can maybe kind of make out, I guess, like I have a bunch of them around the room, so I was more concerned with getting cheap ones. I have already had one of these die on me. Not a big deal, it happens, but I'd rather buy it refurbished and have it die than pay a lot of money and probably also still you know, still have it die. Model Road found hanging from ceiling on bungee cord. If that happens, I hope that they go back and watch this video and they find out who it was that suggested that I hang myself from a bungee cord, which is probably about the worst thing you could use for hanging things. But I think the next thing I'm feeling like what I definitely don't need is more stuff. Like if you look around this room, if you come here, I definitely do not need more stuff. But now I really want a pouch for this. So now I'm thinking I'm going to go online and look for some sort of like tablet pouch. So I don't know if anybody knows any good tablet pouches. Send me a link, and maybe I'll show up next week and I'll show off my snazzy model railroading tablet holder pouch thingamajiggy from the city that never sleeps. Farewell, model citizens.
It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about